You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Where do I come from?
It seems like you have a little problem understanding the English language.
The only way a guy like you gets a set of nuts is by buying them at the concession stand.
I will eat his carcass in front of his little gazelle friends.
It's like a jar of mayonnaise with eyeballs and a ketchup haircut.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty!
Son of a bitch.
Wow, man, freaked out!
Get your fucking shit together, my God!
And I'm living now, yeah!
I want to know what's going on, and I want to know right now.
It's like the most important man in the world standing here, and you got a conversation going with each other.
I would like to just get to know you.
The great one says you can kiss his ass.
Nice to meet you. What's going on?
I wish horrible flesh-eating disease on you and your family, but not a disease where you die. A disease where you have to walk the earth mutated as some sort of piece of...
Listen to me very carefully. Whatever your name is, get ready for the big surprise. Listen to me very carefully.
Maybe I am insane. And maybe it's time for you to find out how insane I am. Yeah.
We're not here just to take part, we're here to take over!
Garbage dumpster fire of a fucking podcast. Welcome to Belt Collectors Unite. We're gonna have fun today, hopefully, as I fly through stuff really fast. So, like, get in on the text line, get in on the social media, and I will do my best to try to get at you the best that I can. But there's a lot going on, and we're gonna be moving really fast. So. Before I get into the business at hand, I want to, give a shout out to my mother-in-law who's laid up in the hospital at the moment. She's been there a couple of days. We're hoping to get her home soon, and I doubt she's listening and hanging out, but if she is, we hope you're better soon and we get you home, and we're thinking about you and all of that fun stuff. So, and also, if you know me on a personal tip, I've got a fundraiser going for a suicide prevention thing, so please, it's near and dear to my heart. Shoot over there and check that out. I wouldn't normally put that out there, but maybe I'll tell my story and how that's touched me at some point, but this is not the time nor the place. But I did want to put that out there for you. If you do know me on a personal tip on the social media, go check that out and donate if you can. I know things are really tight, and there's a lot of different things that you could be donating to and dealing with what little funds you have, but if you can come up with a buck or two, that would be great. I appreciate it. All right, so I got that out of the way, and now we got to handle business. Business updates. That's what you guys care about. J-Dubs updates. Always got to kick the show off with that and get that thing rolling. So a lot of you have gotten pictures of your final product, so I'll be getting stuff out here in the coming week or so. I've got 5 customers, about 8 belts that I want to get done in this bunch, and so I can send about a dozen or so out. So that will be kind of what's going on. and during that time, I'm trying to find alternate ways for shipping. As you guys know, the post office is jacked up. You know, we don't talk politics on here, but yeah, politics definitely got in the middle of the post office and is jamming things up. And it's not just for us. We can find other ways to send belts, but like the VA sends meds to vets through the post office. So they got to get the post office going. And even if the House and the Senate do their thing and that money goes through, I know the House did, but who knows what the Senate's going to say. If that does go through, it's still going to be a while before our post office is normal. So I'm trying to find ways that I can afford to, because we don't make any money here at J-Dubs, to get these belts out to you guys. So I'm going to be exploring other options so that I'd rather you guys get them, than have to wait like a month. Or even waiting isn't that bad if you're going to get them, but sometimes it's like even sketchy on whether you get stuff. So we're going to try to find alternate ways to get shipping that I can afford to get out to you guys, so we don't have to jam up these prices of these belts. If you guys want some expedited shipping from a certain area or by a certain company, and it costs a little bit more and you're willing to pay, then we'll make that work too. So I'll be doing all that stuff this week logistically while I'm finishing up these last few projects that I can in that time. We'll try to get it all out mid to end of the week, and everybody will be happy. Well, at least that clump of people, because I've got a whole nother clump of people that I'm working on some other stuff. We've got, which I'll get to it in a minute, but I'm getting some help here, not this week, but next week. Not this week coming up, but the following week. I'll be getting some help here in the shop, and I'm going to explain that in a minute and how that's going to benefit you guys and how it's going to kind of change up things a little bit too. But I did get a little help here. It's going to move things along and hopefully improve product and services, because we might be able to add some new services. Actually, we're going to, and I'll announce that next week. But this week we've got, like I said, we're just trying to get things rolling and to get a few things done, so when I get this guy in here, I can get it. So he's going to do plating and painting, and that will free me up so I can do a bunch of other stuff. Because really, when you get into the acid etching stuff and cleaning and cutting and buffing and polishing, before it even goes to plating and painting, it takes a lot of time. And so if I can get plating and painting out of the way and get that stuff rolling, then I can get move on to leather and things like that. Things just move a little faster. So just a few. And actually, his paint, he's better. He's better than I am at that. That's kind of his thing. So I'm hoping that will work and work out for you guys. So that'll be what you'll see coming up soon. We had a technology hiccup here. I don't want to call it a technology hiccup, but kind of, sort of. It affected even my fiance, who works from home, but we had a brownout here, and it just kind of shuts everything down for a second, comes back on, and I lost some files, and I didn't lose files as much as they weren't up to date. So anybody in the design phase where I was working on some stuff, I had to go back and do a couple more things. So I'm finishing that up now. I'm going to finish that up after this, and I'm going to try to get all that design stuff out that you guys are waiting on. I'm trying to get all that out, tonight or tomorrow. I got all jammed up. I was working on a bunch of projects all at once and multi-window tasking and doing a bunch of stuff, and then one little hiccup like this with the power, and bam, the stuff that I was in the process did not get saved. So, it's excuse after excuse. I know, guys, you're sick of fucking hearing them, but I'll get it together, like I said, and get that stuff out to you. Like I said, all you guys, I got your pictures and updates and stuff like that. I've already gotten your addresses and all that other stuff. I got a few other belts that I'm trying to get done. So there's going to be a huge shipment going out, and I may switch to UPS. We'll see what happens with that. Looking on that. I appreciate you guys here. Look at this stuff. Okay. Oh, yes. Jeez, SoCal Mike. We're sending good vibes your way. I have had a chance to speak with your wife on a small scale, as you know, and so I'm kind of aware. But we're having the same things going on here. Mother-in-law's in the hospital too, and with with Pops having dementia and stuff like that, and her usually taking care of him. It's been a bit of stress here too, and I've been picking up the slack. so that the wifey can handle that stuff too. So, we know how it is. We got love and support for all of it, for you guys, and my thoughts are always with you, and I'm thinking about that all the time. So I just hope everybody else is staying safe and healthy and trying to keep their mind off all the craziness that the regular world is throwing at us, and we can just get into wrestling and belts and hobby stuff. Okay, hopefully. Mike, SoCal Mike, Canada Mike, Juan. Thank you so much for hanging out. Is my mic too quiet now? Is that the problem? Do I have a quiet mic? Am I loud enough for you now? Am I too loud for you now? That's what usually happens. I'm too loud. I can't hear myself. So I'm so loud. So yes. All right. So I think that's like all the. We covered everything early. I want to get that out of the way. Like I said, when things are getting crazy and all that stuff, we got to go to places to get away from it, right? So we're going to try to do that for the next hour. We're going to try to take your mind off of all the crazy stuff at home, all the crazy stuff in the world, and all the crazy stuff in politics. And we'll just hang out and do all the crazy stuff in belts and wrestling. How about that? Because there's plenty of that going around. And so we'll do that. And then, of course, I've been having more interactions with our lovely friends, AKA. How many different names did we say they had now? There's Legends belts, Champions belts, Muhammad Assad. No, wait, no. Is that it? Muhammad Hassan. What was the other name? Sultan Masood or some shit. What's another name? God, there's another name too. So there's a ton of them, and so we have that interaction too, which is outstanding. And I'll give you an update on that a little bit at the end. But next week, we're gonna put it all out there, dude. Like the screenshots, the pictures, the nods. Oh my God, it's so crazy. But and we're this, and the only reason I kind of bring that up now is because he's getting involved. He's one of the guilty parties when it comes to the new hotness with these belt makers and and I don't want to call it a scam, but it's dirty pool. It's like, it's bad business, and I can't trust your ass. And it is sending the same picture of the same one single belt. Like, they'll take a picture of a belt in progress, and they'll send it to 5-6 different customers saying that this is their belt in progress, almost done, when it can't be everybody's belt. And so, like, in this day and age where people, like, take pictures and screenshots and post stuff and go into groups and talk like we all do, it's kind of career suicide, right? Because like we can find all that out. And so I guess MOC Belts is doing that right now. I've heard that, now I don't know. This is just the rumor mill right now. Let's start that right here. This part here is a rumor mill. My interactions with Champions and Legends will show all that. That's fact. We'll talk about that because that's fact. We've got all the stuff. And so yeah. So and we'll get into the whole Thunderdome, and that shit was more Max Headroom than Mad Max. But if they had an original thought in their mind, then maybe things would be better. And I see you guys already talking about NXT TakeOver in there, and of course I have not watched my boy Kevin do his thing. I know the outcome already because spoilers are every damn where, but I'm going to do that later before I catch SummerSlam. So let's get this in so you guys can get onto SummerSlam. I know that's what you guys want to do, but the new thing is, everybody's backed up, guys. So I get how like your timelines are jacked up and whatever, and that can always be screwed up. Like, I get it. You think you can get this done and you're going to be able to do this and you can't. Things get bumped. But the big thing is communication, right? And then the other big thing is showing pictures and being honest and not doing like crazy stuff, right? We talked about using your other people's pictures when they're posting stuff up there that they, like, hey, this is what I made, and they don't, and that's a red flag. So this is another red flag. So MOC, rumor mill is that they got all those kinds of problems going on. Though the product that they've had out recently before they got so slammed was a good product. So I can understand the time frame changes and all that. I totally get that, but I don't quite get why you would send a picture of the same picture to every single person. So that becomes an issue if you're saying, hey, this is your belt, I'm going to ship it tomorrow, and then they tell somebody, oh, this is your belt, I'm going to ship it tomorrow, and they only have one belt made. That's a problem. And so that's why you're getting, bullshit. And so just be weary of some of that stuff. But same thing, guys. I don't want to start beating down these groups. But same thing, I keep getting, you guys are sending me the stuff. I'm getting it in the text line even now when we're not on about, it seems like all the groups that have brothers in the name seem to be a little bit on some shade right now. And so other people are actually complaining about the groups that I just, I told you about Brothers of Belt booting me because of the stuff I said here on the podcast. They're booting other cats for just even saying anything, and people are talking about it. And so now word's getting around how they play this game. So just be careful when you're in the groups. When you do reference checks, get references from people you know. Getting references from just random internet guy is not a reference at all. It isn't. I could sit at home and make 6 profiles with 6 different emails and make 6 different people, and then I could go around and I could give myself references all day and use different faces, and I could scam the dog shit out of you with raffles and a group and all these things going on. And oh wait, never mind. That's already fucking happening. It's already going on. So let's be real about it. If you want to be in a group where we keep the belt makers out of the conversation, until they're vetted and everybody would come to a vote and allow somebody in, that would be the only way you'd ever see a belt maker in the group, other than obviously myself, but I'm not there shilling product and never will. So we'll show off new belt day, but I don't shill product in there. It's not what it's for. It's for a place to go and get references and check up on things and hear stuff. That's where you can find me if you want to know something and you need proof of something, or you want to see the list or whatever, which I'm still compiling and need to put on there. It's just so much stuff going on, I haven't been able to do it. Utilize other people's scam lists that have out there, these other groups. Utilize people that you know and you can trust, and go that route. That's the only safe way to protect your ass. Getting a reference from somebody, random dude on the internet, is not getting a reference. You need to get a reference from somebody that you can trust. It's not worth it. We got guys here that are daily in on the show, on the podcast, and you can talk to some of them guys, and they're trustworthy, and you can kind of check into that. You need to make your own connections and take your time and see who's trustworthy. And usually the most transparent people are the ones that you have the least problem with, right? If there is any reason for people to hide shit, then that's what they're going to be doing, is hiding shit. And you know what I mean? So you want people that are as super transparent as possible, and stay away from, I would say stay away from middlemen for the most case, but there are some legit out there that, kind of deal with the language barrier and get details and things together for you and don't rip you off from a financial standpoint as far as getting the belt out there for you at a price. So there are a few, and we might actually start doing that as part of a service, offering you to be able to take your third-party plates and have them direct shipped. We'll even vet out makers and deal with somebody that's quality, you know what I mean, so that you can trust. And we'll even, if you want us, we can mediate that and have it set here, and you guys can do what you need to do, but we can mediate that, or you can go through us. I mean, because we're but it would be somebody else's product on our leather, and we could do that if that's something that you want to do, because there are things that we don't offer because we can't, for certain laws here in the States, obvious. But beyond our customs, so that's something that we're kicking around. And if you guys are into that, then that might be a service we would add. But I mean, most places, in most cases, a middleman situation doesn't really do you any good. And if a guy won't use a PayPal situation, then there's a reason why. I hate to tell you. I don't care if it's somebody here in the States, if it's a middleman, if it's a guy that does that makes belts in Pakistan. It doesn't matter. Pakistan, they can't get a PayPal, so sometimes they have to use. I think there's PayPal issues there, but if they're not willing to work with things that protect you as a buyer, then that's maybe that's not who. If you can't do a half now, half later situation, then they don't offer that. Then maybe that isn't somebody that you deal with. But for the most part, you should be able to just weed it out. There's hundreds of these guys out there, guys. If you want something beyond what, like some of these custom guys, because there's a lot of American-made custom makers here that you can utilize, and we're going to break down a belt from one of them next week. We're going to get Pro-Am belts, and we're going to get into one of their belts and do a little review. But and we got action-packed stuff next week. It's going to be crazy. But do your due diligence, but there's so many guys out there. So find you a guy or somebody you can trust, or maybe there's other guys out there that buy up championships. We might do that, where we'll buy a bulk from somebody and maybe offer them, up to people. I don't know. We've kicked around a lot of different ideas and things, but that's kind of the way it rolls. So. Just once again, references aren't references if you're getting it from somebody you have no idea if they're credible. It's just that simple. So be safe, be smart, and handle that thing, because it's going down. It's getting dirty. It's funny. I laugh because I get kicked out of groups and people say shit because I ain't afraid to tell it how it is. And so and people want to get mad and gripey and unfriend me and block me and everything else. And that's fine. That's it. Just once again, it just gives me fuel for the fire, right? It just keeps it going. So in that vein, I want to talk about all that stuff too. So next week, I'm going to bust out all the emails, the screenshots I've taken, all the different stuff that's going to prove this. And I just kind of want to lay it out for you guys because it's going to be funny. We're going to handle it next week. But Champions belts, they're also legends on Facebook. Muhammad Hassan, Sultan Masood, whatever. There's another name too, I can't remember, but it's all the same cats. They're the ones also guilty of sending pictures to multiples, but they do the same kind of shit, right? So, and I'll talk about it a little bit. They've got a group, and where they just push their product, and someone came in the group, a young lady came in the group and asked, hey, I'm not hearing anything, but I'm seeing, but like what's going on with my order and da-da-da-da-da. And Mike Palmer, there's a legit guy in there. I call him SoCal Mike, but when we're referencing the show, but if you guys are on social media, he'll give you good references to groups that, where there's cool stuff, and he can give you reference checks on people and stuff like that. If you don't want to come to me in the Belt Collectors Unite group, answer all the questions, you can come into that group, and I'm always available to you. Also the text line and stuff like that, which is where I've been getting a lot of this stuff after hours when we're not on here on the text line. And that is, for some reason it's not up here, and I'll have to get that up here. 313-307-5340. Feel free to go ahead and text me anything, and we will hook that up. But she goes in the group and she's like, hey, what's going on? I'm not getting communication. I want to know what's up with my belt. It's been a while. Has anybody in this group had these kind of issues, whatever? So a few people say, oh, it's busy, the normal stuff, and it happens. And but this guy tends to not communicate, so that could be a problem. Blah 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 blah. So there's a little conversation in there, and they asked her what she's getting. And she posts a picture of what she's getting. And lo and behold, it's the same picture that we got, last week that was supposed to be shipped in a couple days. That's the picture we got a week plus ago, last week. So I got it. Yeah, I think I got it. We were probably doing the show when it landed, to be honest with you. It was literally like a week. And so, wait a minute, we got that picture a week ago. That exact same picture, and I'm like, look, the communication's been bad. I've been trying to deal with him on email, and he only responds if you get hostile and shit. which I hate doing. I'm like, because you guys know, I think you can get more, you can get more flies with honey than vinegar kind of thing. And so I try not to do it that way. But it seems like that's the only time that these cats really listen sometimes, I feel like. So that's kind of where we're at. So now I'm threatening this dude. I'm like, look, this is not how you fucking do business, motherfucker. And if I want to, I can just go on the podcast, and I can go and do all my other media stuff, and I can do, and I can blast you. I could put you on blast. That's not a problem if that's the way you want to handle it. Like, just talk to me. Like, why do I have to threaten your ass? And and now I'm seeing you posting these pictures or giving pictures, the same picture. Well, I make a bunch of them. Well, then take a picture of all fucking 5 of them and say, look, yours is in here with these other fucking 5. And when I get everything done, we'll fucking send it. But no, you take a picture of one of them and you send it to fucking everybody. And you say, oh, this is your belt. You'll get it tomorrow. And then you don't hear from them for a week. And then you go, hey, dude, what's going on? I thought maybe I would hear from you the next day. It's been about a week. Any word? No big deal. You know what? You didn't finish. You had other belts. You're trying to get a bunch out. The orders are jacked up. I don't know what's going on in Pakistan. Maybe you're sick. You had a bad day, whatever. But you told me it's going tomorrow, and it's been a week, and I haven't heard a thing. It's like crickets. So it's like, okay, so we'll drop a line. You guys drop me a line all the time. If I give you a date, don't follow it through because shit happens. I hear from you. That's normal. A lot of you guys cut me slack now because I've been so busy, and I appreciate that. And I tried to do that with this guy, but now we're on, we're months and months and months, as far as when this was supposed to be done. This is a belt that was purchased long ago, and so we'll see. It's not a matter of how long it takes. It's a matter of communication, and it's a matter of follow through. So maybe this cat will, vindicate himself. But like all the flags are there, and we told you, and we'll lay it all out. We'll put all the emails down. We'll see what our interactions are like this week, and we'll get all that stuff together, and we'll present it as a package, and then we will do a full review of the belt if it ever shows up, and we'll just squash that whole thing, and it'll be done. So I just wanted to put that out there that it's happening, and with that picture thing, that communication thing, that it's happening with every single maker, it seems like, out there. And neat belt makers. Well, they have like belt groups and stuff like that in Canada, Mike. And I wish that they did, that there were more makers and stuff there. But you find you'd be lucky to find like a middleman. It's the same thing with like Australia. You have a handful of middlemen out there that can kind of run and bring belts in, and stuff like that. So, but there's not. I mean, belt makers, the reason, and I can kind of get into it without getting too crazy, is that, in Pakistan, they do, I don't know if you guys are aware, in manufacturing there, of course, is super, super cheap, right? So if you send like $100 American, it's like $16,642 in Pakistani money. That's like literal, that's almost to the penny so the money goes, but the manufacturing is there because that's all they kind of have. And part of it is I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's this area, it's like where all these ships go to die, right? So all these freighters that like wash to shore or sink, that they pull these and they just strip them. Tons and tons of guys go in there and they strip them for every resource that they can, and they get all these materials for manufacturing that way. And they manufacture the shit out of stuff. These guys will get in these like little communities, housing kind of setups, and just stay there for a year at a time, 9 months at a time, 6 months at a time, whatever it is, and not even leave. Just work 14, 18 hours a day and sleep, and they'll do everything there. They'll stay there. And then they'll take that money because, especially if it's money that's sent over from, a product that's sent over here and it translates from American dollars, they'll take all that money to their families. And, the guys that run these manufacturing, they do very well. And I think even their workers can do well. So it is a big thing over there. That's why all your makers are in Pakistan. And you don't see them in other places. Now getting those same materials, because they're not like, available the same kind of way, the labor and the way that we get those materials, it's just such more of an expensive process. By the time we get that stuff here into the States with the tariffs and the process to make all the fresh new materials as opposed to using recycled materials, and the abundance that they have there that we don't, all those come into factor to where they're putting things out so much cheaper and undercutting anything that anybody could do here. These cats are making good money off of belts I can't even make for that price. And that's why when you look at Canada and other places, you don't see a lot of belt makers. And if you do, for obvious reasons, they're going to be, obvious copyright reasons, they're going to be custom makers. And, their price and quality are going to be, it's like undisputed, right? Like you can get a great price, but those belts are hot garbage. I mean, they're laser etched on tin foil, put on, crappy straps that last. I mean, any wrestling company that's ever gotten those has come to me and said, please make me a fucking belt. They're shit. And so that's kind of, they don't last. And so those are smaller, that's a cheaper, affordable. And then you kind of move up from there. And then the more you pay, the quality goes up. You guys know how these belts can be, thousands of dollars. So you can't compete with that on a market here. So the new news that you guys need to watch out for, and we all know because we talked about it, and we have the whole fuck Matthew mantra here, which I really need to make shirts for that, is WWE and UFC are, and Canada, Mike, I'll get to your comment here in a second. WWE and UFC are already buckling down on bootleggers when it comes to everything, but championship belts are going to be a big thing, and now the same is happening with AEW. So I told you that this game's going to change a little bit, and they're going to start yanking, and what they're going to do is they're going to start with cats that are good. Okay, so if you do a very good facsimile of a replica, because there's so many. Now, you have to understand there's so many out there. If you do a very good facsimile of a replica for a significantly cheaper price than what the replica will be, they're going to specifically spearhead those individuals and those companies and take them down off of eBay, off of like Amazon. If you guys aren't hip to the game, Wish is doing it now too. Let Go, I heard people are using that shit, which are crazy. Etsy, that is another one. All those sites are going to get bombarded. Anybody that puts out a good facsimile, a good quality, they're all going to be targeted first, and they're going to get their shit yanked. AEW is now doing the same thing because you already know they got a replica world title coming soon, and so it will affect anybody that has, any of your overseas makers that you like to use. If they do a good facsimile, that is going to affect their bottom line because they're going to get pulled off of the Etsy's and the eBays and all that stuff, and they're going to start bombarding these groups with these AEW belts that they've been making and cannot sell those via those avenues anymore. Now, if you're putting out a horrible facsimile that doesn't even look that good, you will be spared for now. But the game's changing. They're really buckling down on it. Be aware that this is kind of like the Napster thing. Okay, so we're going to get into the day and age of those rights and royalties will be getting collected properly, and so this will take a little longer, but it is going to happen, and they're going to just do it little ways, and the only thing that's going to keep the bootleg market alive is going to be social media groups and people, sharing information other ways. So, because all those legitimate sites are going to get attacked and be forced to take that stuff down. It is coming. It is coming. Also, guys that are on the hunt for AEW stuff, since we're talking about AEW, understand this. It is a game, and y'all aren't playing it. You're getting played by it, okay? this is a pseudo supply and demand issue. They are purposely withholding supplies because they know there is a demand, and they're creating this false demand right now. And they're going to let these series kind of creep out and get before they even get all the figures out anyway. But you'll see what I'm talking about come November, December, when all of a sudden every store has plenty of these fucking things, where everybody, every online place will be guaranteed delivery of these things before Christmas. This stuff will not be an issue. This is I don't want to say they're like, I shouldn't frame it like you're getting played, because it really is just strategic, marketing and all that. And if they put those out and they flopped, then they would be sitting on all these fucking toys for no fucking reason. But you'll notice why when, your Walmart will come out with a display. It'll have 100 figures on it, and then it'll be gone in an hour, and you won't see another display for months. That's why. If every store only gets 100, you're never ever gonna, not with the thirst for. So, but they did that because I don't think that they had a good feel for how quick these things would move. So though it's a pseudo supply and demand kind of thing, I do think they kind of got caught with their pants down a little bit. So, but I fully expect that shit to show up, and don't go on the aftermarket and blow all your money on something that is going to be available to you on and after Christmas. It's not worth it. Just wait. Besides, all the good characters and all that stuff, it won't be out until every series gets out, right? Like, do you want Cody and Brandy and the Young Bucks? I mean, that shit's lame. Like, I'm waiting for Pentagon and Ray Phoenix and Pac and guys like that. Like, that's what I want. I don't want any of this other bullshit, like, if I'm going to go out and do it. So there you go. I only really want the two guys because I want them for my Lucha Underground hookup display I got, and that's it. So I like the figurine things. I got Predator stuff. I've got horror movie stuff. I think I got an Ozzy Osbourne like devilish thing, and so I get it. I get the whole. We're all collectors here, but that's woo. That's about as far as I get. They get pricey, so I got to pick and choose. And I'm not a huge. I got an Undertaker one too, so I shouldn't. So whatever. Anyway. So I'm with you guys. And off subject, Canada Mike, the Raptors are winning. The Raptors are going to probably be in the Eastern Conference Finals, if not the NBA Finals. And if you guys are into mainstream sports and you like that kind of thing, dude, come back here Wednesday, 8 p.m. for Detroit Sports Radio Rebels. Johnny the Moose will be here in the number one chair. I'll be sitting second fiddle, and we'll be talking all the stuff in the sports with our crazy twist. It's adult friendly. We have fun. We act goofy. We say things we probably shouldn't say. We watch the game with us. With you guys, and we get after it. We have fun, and that's 2 hours of debauchery. We want you to dictate the show. That's what's so cool. We go, the concept behind it is it's just rebel radio where you're just kind of doing whatever. And if you guys want to dictate where we go with that show, dude, get in on it. So that's each and every Wednesday, Studio 57 Radio, and anywhere you catch your podcast, Spreaker. We're on Twitch and shit now, YouTube channel, all that good stuff. So there you go. Yes, guys, I am working on unnamed texter on the text line. I am. You can put your name. You can give a shout out. I'll be glad to do that. We are going to be cutting stuff down for the YouTube channel. Yes, for both shows, the DSR2 and for this one. This one we're basically cutting reviews and projects and stuff like that down and putting those on its own and just kind of. And so you'll start seeing that stuff. But like I said, right now, I'm a one-man wrecking crew, man. I got too much stuff to do. I'm making too many belts. I got all these people right here and this little social media feed that are going, hey, yo, hey, yo, where's my shit? So I'm doing that right now. So I will get that stuff updated as soon as I can. We do have some other reviews that we have done that we haven't posted that I will put up there so you guys can search that out and get it rolling and yada, yada, yada. So, now that we've gotten into the little belt stuff, how about that there wrestling? Did you guys watch TakeOver? I only have not seen my boy Kevin do his thing. I want to see it. I didn't think I'd be able to get to it, or pay attention enough to it, so I did not watch it. So I'm going to do that after this when I go to do some design work. I'm going to have that up and at the same time. So I know he did get hurt, shoulder injury or whatever. So hopefully he'll be all right, and it's nothing major. But I want to check out and see where the bump was, and see just see him work. I loved his work all over the place. He's done it. I wish he would have got more time in Lucha Underground. I wish SoCal Mike, I wish I was out by you. Because you probably got more of a chance to see him in some of those indie things down there. But he never really came our way. I've had a couple opportunities to chat with him through a friend for another podcast and stuff like that. And but he's a very cool guy. I love his thing, and glad that he finally got to the big show and got his opportunity. And the whole Scarlett thing too, I love it too, because to kind of where he was before he got to Impact, and how that whole thing, and he was able to leave there with Scarlett as well. I just love that whole kind of thing. So I'm happy for the guy. Hopefully his injury is nothing too major and all that. So that's kind of what I look for when I watch a lot of these shows, as opposed to so much the show. But we got to talk about the show a little bit too while we're here. Oh yeah. See SoCal Mike, you're right on what I'm talking about there. Social media guys, if you want to get in on the conversation, also the text line 313-307-5340. Killer Cross's Lucha Underground stuff is cool. Had there was not a work issue beforehand and had some issues doing some other stuff and being there, they would have done some more stuff with him earlier. It just took a minute for him to get in there, longer than they wanted, and then everything got rushed and the budget was all jacked up, so that last season didn't really get to do what they had planned with him, and I really wish I would have gotten to see that. That would have been outstanding. But yeah, Impact definitely did not do him any justice. But they didn't want to put him over. I mean, he's better than anybody in that company right now. And this is the only thing that bothers me with the Killer Cross situation is now what do you do with Kevin? Now what do you do with him? So to me, I think that, because you just have, you turn Keith Lee into a transitional champion who leaves empty-handed. So there's a couple of things there storyline-wise, but, I want to see my boy, I shouldn't call him my boy. We're not boys, but, I want to see him do his thing, So, yeah, so okay, this is what it is for me. Not only does WWE book itself in the corner when they do have something good, which we've seen with The Fiend, and I'm not a huge fan of The Fiend character, but I mean, it's undeniable how over that character is, and that they've fucking booked that into a fucking nightmare that they're trying to book themselves out of right now. And they may be able to do it, but I don't think it'll nearly be what it could have been, and I think a lot of people feel that way. And so now I'm afraid that you have a very similar thing with Kevin in this situation. And so I'm kind of curious. So they do that stuff, and then they don't have an original thought, I feel like, anymore. They're trying to mimic what the NBA's doing and failing miserably, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what you guys thought about the Thunderdome, but dude, welcome to the Thunderdome. Dude, that's fucking Mad Max. Like, that is the most iconic Mad Max thing in the... Why? Like, how did you get that even trademarked? I'm not really sure. And then why would you? And it is closer to Max Headroom than it is Mad Max to me. It is goofy. I'm pretty sure I had a seizure because after the Naomi like double up, I woke up and on the floor in a puddle of my own piss. I'm pretty sure I had a seizure from all the fucking lights and digitized bullshit all over the fucking screen. I'm not a fan. I think the NBA did an okay job with it, and we cap on that. Like, check out DSR2. We laugh. We cap on that shit. We think it's funny. We goof on it. But WWE, they did it as an accent. They did it as like They focused on the game and what the game's all about and what they have you in front of you, the story that they're telling in front of you. This is NBA we're talking about. They tell a story with the drama, right? The announcers tell the story with of the drama that's developed through the series and the games, right? Why can't WWE do this? This is what the NBA does. And they use those little fans that they put in the background as just like a secondary thing. And they even kind of joke about it. And they even, dude, they made this a fucking feature of the show. Not the writing, not the storytelling, not any kind of, none of that. And then if people were sleeping on screen, that's great. That's epic because they could just shut you off for that shit if they want. And then they got to pop up like 10 heads of the same fucking person to fill the space. The only thing that was cool about it was when they did the entrances, they could take everybody out of the crowd and put all these make the graphics be the whole goddamn every inch of the place. Once again, I think I had a seizure and pissed myself. But, I mean, that was like the only cool thing about it. Other than that, I want people to just start doing goofy shit just to get kicked off. Like take your shirt off. And have like AEW painted on your chest. Mike, would you do that? Any mics. I got a couple mics out there. Would you do it? That'd be great. It'd be epic. Fall asleep because the show's so lame. You're just drooling on yourself in the lounger. In the Barca lounger, as my grandparents would call it. The Barca lounger. What the fuck's a Barca lounger? Sounds like a dog bed. I don't know what the fuck it is. Apparently it is like what we would call a lazy boy or a recliner. Fuck. Oh, man. So I like but once again, not an original thought. But if they had an original thought, we wouldn't have these fucking problems because they put together a card worth watching with stories. And they're starting to do a little bit here and there. But, man, it's just hard to watch. And Impact doesn't do all that gimmicky stuff. And they're a little easier to watch. Not Impact, AEW. And they're easier to watch. And, I won't even get into the list, Mike. Dude, it's so crazy. Like, you can't wear anything with logos. You can't do... You know what? Like, it sounds like you can get up for a second, but if you're gone for too long, then you can lose your seat. And it sounds like you can quick take a tinkle, but if you got to take a shit, you're screwed. You're going to lose your seat. It's just like tons of rules, like no logos, no this, no that. They could cut you off for any reason and do whatever. It's like... it was like 100 things. Like I heard Cornette's little blurb on it, and they were reading them, and it was kind of funny. So check that out if you want to go to the Jim Cornette's got his little drive-through podcast. You can catch it on YouTube, I know for sure, and they got it snipped down where he talks about that, and he reads them. Now Cornette is a blowhard and a bit of an idiot, but he read it and it was silly. So I don't know what to say. They're super crazy. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Can I set up my phone in the shitter? But you can't even like smoke a cigar. They'll kick you off. Like you can't like you can't have like a beer in your hand. But you can in the stadium. That's okay, but not on the TV. Like all kinds of shit you can't do. They don't want any logos and shit. What if you're drinking a fucking Coke? Like, you have to cover the logo while you take a sip, or do you got to, like, lean your face off the screen to take a drink of your pop? I don't get it. It's like, they cut you off. I mean, it's just silly. I would love it if, like, people, and it's got to be you, right? So what do? Submit, like, a picture ID? It can't be somebody else sitting in that seat. Because that would be great if, like, the AEW wrestlers, like, even if it were just the dark guys, the guys and gals that wrestle on dark that you don't really know that well yet, even if it was all of them just, like, taking up seats in there and, like, randomly flashing. But people are going to do that. They're going to put shit up there and get kicked off. AEW signs, Impact signs, whatever. What the fuck's Impact doing? What is with that stuff? I can't handle it. I can't handle it. My boy Terry, I love him to death. Rhino, working his ass off over there still. Old man Rhino. When he should be at Big Daddy's boatyard chilling. But what the hell are they doing over there? RVD, my man. You were like the Jean-Claude Van Damme of pro wrestling. And now you're Charlie Sheen. It's old. I don't know. The Wrestle House stuff, are you digging it? Johnny Swinger's back. I don't know. To me, it's too hokey. It's too hokey. There you go. Beer bong while wearing an AEW shirt and talking loud as hell and swearing and smoking a hookah. Yeah, see, there you go. Break every rule in 1 single second. I want to just hit the logo thing. I wanted to just have my J-Dubs logo on my shirt and just see how long it takes for them to cut me off. But they won't let any logos on. So you can't even, like, self-gloss. I'm like, what the fuck? I want to self-gloss if I'm going to be on this stupid-ass thing. I'm going to be forced to stare and, have this camera on me for you. So you can have this stupid animatronic fucking stage shit. You know what you should have done? You should have went to all the closed-down Chuck E. Cheese's and got all the band members from Chuck E. Cheese and then pumped in fake noise from the WWE games, the fake crowd noise from the WWE move sound of the fake noise, and then that's your fucking audience, and that would be better than what I'm watching. I don't like. I love the memes and stuff of like the different board games that it represents, or when MJF tweeted the thing about it looks like the Muppets fucking thing, and this stuff is just so crazy. Wrestle House has its moments because there's some of them cats are funny. Some of them have, like, I get it, like some of them, but that's probably the highlight of the fucking thing, to be honest, isn't it? I hear Ring of Honor's getting back to it soon, so that'll be nice. New Japan's been getting after it, so I'd love for them to get an American contract, but I don't think that's going to happen with all this stuff going on. So wrestling's going to be something weird, but the Vince McMahon product, I want WWE to be so good, so bad, but they're so bad. They're so good at being so bad. I just don't know. And so hopefully they go. So the highlight of NXT thus far with the takeover, in my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours. I wouldn't say he stole the show like a lot of people are saying, but the Pat McAfee was like, I'll give him credit, man. He showed a lot of trust in the guys, and he did a big flippy move, which, with 30 fucking guys, that's not to catch you. That's not a bad deal. But at least he didn't Gronk it and have to have McMahon show him how to do it first, and he wasn't afraid to get it. And then that second rope Canadian Destroyer, I mean, that's on him to make sure that move looks good, and he did a great job. So, and he sells better than a lot of guys and other companies that have been doing this for a while. So, Pat McAfee's a fucking blowhard asshole, but he did do. I have to give credit where credit was due, and he wasn't afraid, and he worked hard, and he was able to pull off a couple things that I didn't expect to see from him. But I'm not going to say like he stole the show or that all of a sudden he's this great wrestler. I'm going to cut it short of that. But yeah, that would be my highlight there. And like I said, the product is just rough. And then you bring Velveteen Dream back with all this stuff going on. I just don't get it. But see, WWE is tone deaf to this shit because it's the same thing, right? You guys are aware that Excalibur isn't on AEW because of a video of him dropping N-bombs at a show trying to get heat. Well, back in like the 90s or some shit, or the early 2000s or whatever the fuck it was. Well, Kevin Owens is in the same video saying the same shit. Nobody said a goddamn word about that. and he's still on television. Now, obviously, he's got a different tone than what he's ever had before with the way they're working his character. But Velveteen Dream really, I don't know, man. And I know they were just looking for an excuse to get rid of Enzo, but in Big Cass and all that shit. But it's like, what the fuck? And then this stuff with Rusev and all that. Like, the way they handle this talent, I just will never know. And, you know, you can call it what you want as we do this wrestling rundown here in the last few minutes. Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I'm with you, SoCal Mike. I like the EC3's character back over there in Impact. I love Crazy Steve. I always liked him before when they had the Abyss, when he was with Abyss and all that stuff. The Deaners and all that stuff, I'm not really sure. I've seen a little bit, but I can live without that. I mean, it's all right, but you know, whatever. They've got a little comedic value there at least, but in the vignettes or whatever and stuff like that. So it's the same thing with the whole Larry D thing. Whatever. I you know, whatever. So I like, the product is just, they've got talent, and I don't know what they're doing with it, but they're always so tone deaf when it comes to all these other little things, and to have Velveteen out there, especially with like the way he kind of rolls this Prince gimmick and everything. I just don't think it's a good look for them. But they always kind of do this stuff. So I would love to see him get it together. Holy shit, the Raptors put up 75 already. Damn, I got to put the game on. Maybe I'll watch SummerSlam later. But thanks, Mike, for the update. Appreciate that. If you guys like sports, once again, DSR2 Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on Studio 57 Radio with Johnny the Moose. So I don't know. I'd love to see him get it together, but I just don't have a whole lot of faith in that stuff. So if they took like all the bulk of the good talent and condensed it down into, you know, a couple hour shows, two-hour shows, and they didn't have so many hours of content, maybe they wouldn't feel the need to put all this crap out there. I know they're short-handed and all that stuff, but they can fix all that stuff with Retribution when they just bring in all these cats that they furloughed and fired and say that they're mad at the company, and then all of a sudden you've got a huge influx of talent that comes in, and you can really create the war thing that you kind of had before, the brand warfare kind of scenario, as you're trying to leave the PG-13 and get more edgy, because companies like Impact, AEW, and others are much more edgy. Even when you go on onto MLW and all these other they're so much more edgy when we have all our content. So like WWE's the only ones catering to Disney, and I think for whatever reason they don't understand that their big demographic that they need to win isn't the one that they've been catering to. So we'll see how that works and how that plays out. Hopefully they do get it together, because as Ring of Honor starts coming back and all these other companies start coming back, I mean, be ready. I mean, you've already seen these crossovers. NWA, you know, is going to, it looks like they're going to have a working relationship with AEW. So, you know, we get to see our girl Thunder Rosa. I love her to death. She's awesome. We get to see her get in the mix over there at AEW. And so I think other companies are going to, so that now's the time. Like, Vince can't, wasting time on these stupid LED boards and putting fake fans, or not fake fans, but putting fans in a digital max headroom type stadium is not what you need to be prioritizing. These other companies are not doing that, and you are getting a better product. Even as bad as Impact can be sometimes, it's still, you know, I don't know. I think it's more of a campy, cheesy production that bothers me about Impact as anything else. But the way Impact has handled their titles, yucky. Just, I don't like the way they've handled all that. But it was nice to see the Motor City Machine Guns back, I guess. So there we go. All right, guys. Well, next week we're gonna do. We got a Pro-Am belt here. We're gonna kind of go over that. I've had it for quite a while, so this is more how they used to do things as opposed to kind of how they're doing things now. We'll kind of give you an update on what you can expect from them as a belt company and all that. And we're gonna break that down. Also, more interactions with legends. I'm gonna push and see if I can force some kind of something here just to be that guy, I guess, at this point. I guess it makes content. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. I would normally chill, but because I'm getting kind of, BS, I feel more inclined to push back. So maybe we'll see what happens with that. Well, we'll definitely see what happens with that because I'm going to post all that stuff, all our interactions up to this point, and then we're just going to kind of let it go until a belt shows up, if it shows up, and then we'll do a review and give our final say on that. So we'll have that going on. Plus, I got a couple finds. I know everybody's been out there looking for AEW figurines and all this other shit. And I found a couple finds out there, super cheap, and I'm going to show off what I got, and then we're going to and talk about what I might do with them as a project, and maybe we'll do that on a future show, and we'll have that going on. So, yeah, see, there we go. So, yeah. The cooperation, I'm telling you right now, you're with me, SoCal Mike, as we round this thing up. I'm telling you right now, Vince McMahon needs to get off his ass and get it together. Triple H, whoever's running the goddamn show over there, they need to get Vinnie Mac out the mix because these other companies are going to work together and put together just a whole lot better product. And that's what's up with that. It's that fucking simple. Guys, if you haven't, check out the group, the Belt Collectors Unite group. Go in there. Like I said, protect yourself. Get your references from people in that group that are trustworthy. Make sure you answer all the questions so I can let you in. If you don't, I can't. We're very strict about who we have in there. That's hence a safe place to be for Belt Collectors. So go check that out if you haven't. And we'll see you next week. DSR2 Wednesday. I love you guys. Be safe and be good to each other. Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.